Good afternoon. I'm Imansha Agarwal. Welcome you all to the digital media platform of Uday India. Here are today's main highlights. According to Rajnath Singh, the Minister for Defense, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first leader after Mahatma Gandhi who has true understanding of the feelings of people. Rajnath Singh claimed that Prime Minister Modi has a direct line of communication with people who in turn have faith in him. During his remarks at a book launch, The Architect of New BJP, How Narendra Modi Transformed the Party. According to Defense Minister, Mr. Modi has used his ideas to transform BJP into a poll winning machine without compromising on ideology. Mr. Singh asserted that while political developments and BJP's philosophy may have contributed to party's invincible run over the past 8 years, Mr. Modi's approach to spreading his idea and gaining the public trust has no parallel. The Competitiveness Roadmap for India was published today in New Delhi by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, EAC-PM. The document was released in the presence of Dr. Bibek Debroy, Chairman of the EAC-PM, Amitabh Kant, Sherpa for India at the G20, Sanjeev Sanyal, member for the EAC-PM, and Dr. Christian Kettels from the Harvard Business School. Dr. Devroy stressed in a speech that the significance of examining economic patterns to determine what has to be done for India to become a highly successful nation by 2047. According to him, the true growth drivers are consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports. According to the EAC PM chairman, there are four approaches to analyze economic growth by segmenting the growth drivers by sector, by factor inputs, and by regional inequality. The worst appears to have not passed for Congress, as 51 leaders are set to resign and join Ghulam Nabi Azad's new party, even as the party reels from Azad's resignation. The party has lost 64 leaders since Azad's resignation. Among the leader is Tara Chand, a former deputy chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir, who quit the party on Tuesday to support Ghulam Nabi Azad. They delivered a letter of resignation as a group to Sonia Gandhi, the head of Congress. At a press conference, Chand and a number of other people, including former legislator Balwant Singh, former ministers Abdul Majid Wani, Manohar Lal Sharma, and Gharu Ram, announced their resignation from their party, including its primary membership. On September 2 in Kochi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate Vikrant, the nation's first aircraft carrier built domestically. India will now have two operational aircraft carriers with the commissioning of Vikrant, which would improve the country's maritime security. The new naval ensign, Nishan, which sheds the colonial past and honors the rich Indian maritime tradition, will also be unveiled at the occasion by Prime Minister. During his trip, Mr. Modi will stop in Kerala and Karnataka on September 1 and 2. In Kaladi village, close to the Cochin airport, Mr. Modi will travel to Sri Adi Shankara Janmabhoomi Kshetram, the revered birthplace of Adi Shankaracharya. In addition, Mr. Modi will officially open the Lake Cornerstone for projects worth over 3,800 crores in Mangaluru. Dr. S. Jaishankar, India's Minister for External Affairs, has stated once more that the relationship between China and India will depend on how the border is. Dr. Jaishankar comments were made after against the backdrop of an Indian Chinese military stalemate. The future of Asia hinges on the advancement of India China ties, Dr. Jaishankar stated yesterday while speaking at an event in New Delhi. He emphasized that the three mutuals that are mutual sensitivity, mutual respect, and mutual interest must form the foundation of any relationship between the two nations if it is to be successful and last. According to the Minister of External Affairs, efforts that have an impact on the region must be consultative rather than unilateral, and that territorial integrity and sovereignty must be respected. According to President Draupadi Murmu, the administration is dedicated to giving every Indian access to a formal banking system in order to ensure that benefits are distributed to recipients without any pilferage. Yesterday, the president had a conversation with Queen Maxima of the Netherlands about the various facets of India and the Netherlands' bilateral relationship. The two leaders talked about the plans for universal financial inclusion during their conversation. Queen Maxima was pleased with the recent developments in this area in India. President Draupadi Murmu observed that other facets of bilateral relations, as well as the strategic partnership on water launched during the India Netherlands virtual summit last year, have improved recently. Maxima the Queen is currently in India for 3 days. Next is from Manish Sisodia. The Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi arrived to a bank in Ghaziabad today so that the Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) may examine his locker as a part of investigation into the alleged irregularities in the city's since retracted liquor policy. Mr. Sisodia, who also oversees the excise portfolio for the Delhi government, is one of the 15 defendants listed in the FIR the CBI filed in the liquor policy case. The CBI has argued that the new policy was implemented without Anil Baijal, then Governor of Delhi, consent. The Delhi administration granted licenses to a large number of unqualified vendors in return for bribes, according to the FIR. 8 months after the policy's introduction in November of last year, there were charges of corruption. More than 40,000 metric tons of wheat have already been delivered to Afghanistan by India. India's permanent representative to the UN, Ruchira Kamboj, stated at the UN Security Council discussion on Afghanistan that India had delivered many shipments of humanitarian relief, including 32 tons of medical aid. She continued by saying that the nation and the UN World Food Programme had signed a contract to ensure an equitable distribution of the latter's wheat assistance in Afghanistan. As part of India's ongoing involvement with the Afghan people, a technical team from India has also been stationed at the Indian Embassy in Kabul to closely monitor and coordinate the efforts of various stakeholders for the efficient distribution of humanitarian aid. For the second time in less than a year, Canada has invoked a 1977 pipeline agreement with the US to stop the closure of a pipeline in Wisconsin. Melanie Joly, the Foreign Minister of Canada, stated on Monday that her country has expressed grave worries about the potential impact on the economy and energy of a shutdown of the Line 5 pipeline. In a statement, Ms. Joly warned that this would have an effect on energy prices, including the cost of gas at the pump and the propane for home heating. These results are unsatisfactory at a time when global inflation is making it difficult for households to make ends meet. She added that many towns on both sides of the border that depend on the success of companies throughout the supply chain might be significantly impacted by the shutdown. The pipeline is an essential component of Enbridge's mainline network, which transports the majority of Canadian oil exports to the US. Line 5 transports approximately 540,000 barrels per day from Superior, Wisconsin to Sarnia, Ontario, according to media estimates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated on Monday that he was saddened to see the destruction and hoped for an early restoration of normalcy in his first statement regarding the floods in Pakistan. According to media resources, negotiations about the potential to provide Pakistan with humanitarian aid are currently taking place at highest levels. Although no decision has been made as of yet, top authorities in South Bloc are reportedly debating the available possibilities. If approved, India will be providing relief to Pakistan in response to a natural disaster for the first time since BJP administration took office in 2014. As flights to Iraq were suspended amid unrest in Baghdad as a result of a prominent Shia cleric announcement that he would leave politics, Iran shut its land borders to the nation. After unrest broke out the day before, the death toll reached 20 on Tuesday, according to a senior medical official. The militia linked to the Iraqi cleric Muqtada al Sadr and Iraqi security forces engaged in violent battles overnight in the heavily protected Green Zone, the country's capital, according to Iraqi military. Already, the wealthiest person in Asia, Gautam Adani, is now third richest in the world, surpassing LVMH chairman Bernard Arnault and becoming the first Asian to hold that position, according to Bloomberg and its Billionaires Index. The tracker reveals that Adani, who heads one of India's largest businesses, is currently valued at almost $137 billion. That's after a rise this week put him just behind Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, and Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, who whose respective fortunes are estimated to be $251 billion and $153 billion. The creator of Adani Group, which bears his name, owns stakes in businesses ranging from coal and solar energy to ports and aerospace. Reliance, during its annual general meeting 2022 event, Jio finally revealed Jio 5G services. Mukesh Ambani, the chairman of RIL, said, I want to announce the next leap forward that Jio is creating in digital connectivity, notably in fixed broadband when announcing Jio 5G services. Jio 5G is that. We will connect 100 million homes with 5G, bringing them cutting edge digital experiences and smart home solutions. Akash Ambani stated that with 5G being pushed out in India, the existing 800 million connected internet devices will treble to 1.5 billion connected internet devices in just a year when the Geo 5G services are announced. The businesses also with Google to introduce a low cost 5G phone to India. The introduction of JioPhone 5G is anticipated at the next AGM. One of the nation's leading authorities on rural economy and a former member of Planning Commission, economist Abhijit Sen, passed away on Monday. He was 72. About 11 p.m., he had a heart attack. We rushed him to the hospital, but at the time we arrived, everything was over, explained his brother, Dr. Pranab Sen. Over the course of more than four-decade career, Abhijit Sen served in a number of significant government roles, including chair of the Commission of Agricultural Cost and Prices. He also taught economics at Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. Between 2004 and 2014, Manmohan Singh served as Prime Minister and he was a member to the Planning Commission. That was the end of today's bulletin. Stay tuned for more.